Hey guys, this is Marc Goldberg from Marc Vlogs Watches, and today I want to do a video for you that has that answers a question that has been troubling me for quite a while. You see, I own a ceramic Submariner as well as a discontinued Rolex GMT. In my case, I am lucky enough to own the Batman iteration of the GMT. But nonetheless, I own both of these watches, and even though they are both supposedly 40mm super case maxi dial Rolex Oyster Perpetual professional sports watches, to my eye, that Batman always just looks weirdly or slightly or incrementally larger than the Submariner, and I've never been able to figure it out. So today I go crazy trying to decode the mystery. Is one of them larger than the other, or are they in fact identical? And there's a surprise and twist ending to this. They're not identical. Rolex, you've been holding out on us. Okay, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, let's go ahead with the quick fist watch check. And here it is. This one's going to surprise you guys. It's neither of the two watches I just mentioned. In fact, today I am wearing a watch that I just really love. It is the 42mm Polar Explorer. One other quick aside, I am working very hard to be one of your favorite YouTubers. I know it's not easy because I'm not really very good at editing and lighting, and I'm outside holding onto the camera hoping that it doesn't shake too much. But hey, do me a favor, let's do this again together. I've got so much more information I would like to share with you. Subscribe so we can do it together. Okay, also, I was in the authorized dealer today and they had the black dial version of this in the case. Literally the only steel sports they had was this in black. And I said to the guy, why is this here? And he said, because everybody wants the one that you have. Sweet. So guys, the camera work is going to be exceptionally tricky here because one will look bigger than the other, depending on how I angle my hand. But I can just tell you that not looking through the viewfinder, but looking by eye, it always seems to me that the GMT somehow looks bigger. And yet, this is a confusing issue to me because in theory they are supposed to be the exact same size. So what we have here is a steel ceramic Submariner, reference number 116610, still in current production, 40mm super case with maxi dial. And what we have here is a discontinued GMT Batman 116710 BLNR. BLNR refers to the fact that it's a Batman due to that blue portion of the lower dial, or the lower bezel that you can see so beautifully there. Its reference number is 116710 without that BLNR, if it's all black all the way around, and both are discontinued, although this one is trending up, much more valuable, much more quick. But here's the thing. I'd like to know, when we get into the comments section, if one of these looks bigger to you than the other, because this one, to the naked eye, always looks bigger to me. So let's go over some quick statistics. First of all, from the width of the watch, from here to here, both of them measure 40mm. And I know this, guys, because I pulled out my trusty plastic calipers. Long-term subscribers to this channel will know one time, right live on camera, I scratched a Rolex using metal calipers because I didn't know about the plastic, but a kind viewer from Belgium sent me these all the way from Europe. Okay, so both of these guys are 40mm lug to lug. So that is the first thing. Now the other thing is the bezel insert. So I measured the bezel insert, which is the ceramic bit from here to here. Here we have sapphire, crystal, and here we have metal, stainless steel. But the ceramic portion only on both watches measures exactly the same. Let me move that. Okay, they measure exactly the same at 3.6mm. And I thought, well, maybe there's more ceramic on the Batman. Maybe that's why, that it often looks bigger to me, but nope. They are both of them 3.6. Now, the lug-to-lug measurement, which is from this point here to that point there, on both of these guys is exactly the same at 47.6mm. And fellas, I'm doing as best I can to not knock these together. I'm pretty sure somewhere in the comments you're going to yell at me Don't knock them together. I'm trying hard here. Oh, by the way, I'm working hard to be one of your favorite watch YouTube vloggers. So please subscribe, like, tell me what you think of this in the comments. That will really help me. Okay, so lug to lug, 47.6 on both of those watches from here to here. Identical. So I thought, well, maybe the lug width at the very bottom, maybe that's different. By the way, it isn't, but I'm talking about from this point here to here. And that is 3.3 millimeters on each of them. I mean, literally, these guys are utterly identical. So now I'm starting to think, am I crazy? Maybe there's, an optical illusion. Why do these look so different to me, and yet why are they measuring exactly the same? Bracelets, by the way, measure 19 millimeters from here, and they taper all the way down to 15.4 millimeters. I mean, exactly. Of course, this has brush center links, and the Batman GMT has polished center links, but the measurement, the width of these bracelets is identical. Now, mind you, there is a difference when we get to the clasps. You can see how much bigger the Submariner clasp is. I didn't take this into account because this, of course, is concealing a glide lock clasp. Let me show that to you now. Whereas the GMT that I put down is concealing merely an easy link. And this is an adjustable clasp. See all those ratchets in there? Just pick this downward, and now we can make the bracelet smaller or larger. So naturally, the clasp is going to be, look, big old scratch I got there. Naturally, the clasp is going to be larger on this Submariner than on this Batman, but that has nothing to do with really the essence of this video, which is why, to my eye, does this one always look bigger? Why does the Batman look bigger? And it has to do with the front of the watch, not the bottom of the watch. I weighed them out while I was getting, completely anally retentive about all of this, and I found that they both weighed in exactly the same at 148 grams, which is 5.22 ounces for those of you who don't understand much about the metric system. Okay, so let me tell you the secret, and it's completely optical illusion. One of the things that I discovered right away that's different is the triangle. Now, in the Submariner, it's got the loom pip, but take that out of it. Just look at the dimensions of the triangle versus this triangle. The Batman triangle is substantially bigger. So the Submariner, that triangle at its base, at the very bottom, which in fact the base of it, is at the top, but I mean in its longest dimension. On the Submariner, that dimension is 4.6 millimeters from here to here, and from here to here on the Batman is 5.7, and that's 24%. So I did all the math, and so this triangle is 24% bigger than this triangle over here. That's one thing. Now, the next thing that I wanted to do was to take a number that both of them had, and in this case, it's the 20. So let me move my 20 around. And let me move my 20 around here as well, just so I can get them kind of close together. And you'll notice there's a great deal of difference in the size of these two 20s, which means that the numbering is substantially larger on the Batman. So I did some measurements on these numbers, and what I discovered was that the width of that 20 is 3.6 on the Submariner, and it is 5.8 here on this Batman, and that is a 60% advantage. So that 20 is 60% larger than that 20 right there. And then I measured it. I was going crazy on the measurements. I measured corner to corner. So like diagonally, which is the way you measure screens for computers and things like that. I measured diagonally across the 20. And on the Submariner from corner to corner, I got 4.5 millimeters, and here the 20 corner to corner on the GMT Batman was 6.1, which is a 24% increase here over here. Let me turn this camera around so I can talk to you. I'm getting tired of holding these things, and you're probably getting tired of looking at them, but let's review what's going on here. So we have two very similar watches in their own way, but they serve very different purposes. The GMT, it tracks time and was invented for pilots, so it enables you to track 2 or even 3 time zones, depending on how you use it. It has a rotating bezel to facilitate that, and it has very big numbers so that pilots could read it at a glance, and today not so much pilots, but the modern day traveler. The Rolex Submariner, it has smaller numbers, and it has a unidirectional bezel. The bezel turns only one way, whereas this one turns both ways. And of course, it's a dive watch, and its intention is to, or at least really, and today, who uses it for its intended purpose, but its historical value was as a dive watch. They are both built on the 40 millimeter Rolex Super Case and Maxi Dial. Maxi Dial referring to the size of those hands. Sorry about the glare. Rolex, start putting some AR coating on these things. The glare is killing me. But the hour markers are large, and those are identical. Hands and hour markers are identical. So if you ever get both of these in your hands at once, you will notice this guy looks a little bit bigger, and it's completely an optical illusion. It has entirely to do with the size of that triangle and of those numbers. Who knew? It's just a small little trick, but it bugged me until I figured it out. Okay, guys, well, once again, I would like to ask you to please subscribe, join me. I have so much more crazy stuff that I would like to share with you, and I would love for you to be a part of it. Make sure you leave me a comment, like this video, and hey, let's do it again. Goldberg, peace out.